This update breaks several farms but adds some new ones as well as introduces some rare discontinues. Hello there, Ray here. Let me use my 15 years of playing this game to tell you everything you need to do before and after updating to the Bundles of Bravery. Two big changes came to raid farms, so they became even more nerfed. The one big one is that when it comes to how far a raid can be spawned above the initial village, it will no longer be able to place in raiders really high up in the air, but is now capped at only placing them up 96 blocks. This nerfs the popular designs that we showed with the stacking raids as well as the stacking waves. And raids change so that they no longer will spawn in just 3 main rings, but instead will attempt to spawn in one of these many rings, so they almost will never fail even if they're on a small island. But I've already designed a new raid farm that can work with all these nerfs, and I even discovered a way to actually get the stacking waves to occur using some weird tricks. So double check that you've clicked that subscribe button so you don't miss out on those videos, and if you really appreciate the dedication that I put into all these different types of farms and machines, consider joining as a YouTube member. It's only because of my monthly supporters I'm able to put this time and dedication into this. There is also a big nerf to copper as well as drown farms by using zombie reinforcements, which got changed so now drowns that summon in reinforcements will not summon in zombie ones, but instead will summon in drowned ones, but only if the circumstances are correct, like there is water and there is a block, which makes it really difficult to get infinite drowns as well as infinite copper. But I was able to use my initial reinforcement zombie farm that I did 8 years ago in combination with Ender Dragon to make a new type of sustainable copper farm. So if you haven't clicked that like button, this is definitely a good reason too. They changed how long it takes boats as well as minecarts to be able to go through a portal again. Normally when something comes to another portal, it takes 15 seconds of it sitting before it can actually get teleported again. But now for boats and minecarts, it only takes half a second, and this means we can have minecarts come in, bounce off, and go back through without having to break them down and replace them again. And this will make another portal chunk loader, which I originally showed over 8 years ago, and you can learn more about how chunks work and chunk loading in this video here. Projectiles cooldown going through portals has also been changed to just 1/10 of a second, so I can travel hundreds of blocks by throwing an ender pearl through this nether portal, and then going into the nether and out a different nether portal, instantly teleporting me over 350 blocks. And what it looks like on the nether side is just I got one big portal over here, and I got a portal over here, and I'm in the overworld, throw an ender pearl through this portal, and it goes flying across into that portal and teleports me over into the overworld. And for every 1 block it travels to the nether, it travels 8 blocks in the overworld, which makes a new easy way to do transportation. But this is only possible because of another change in this version here, which adds it so that ender pearls that are flying through the air will load chunks that they go into. That way your ender pearl never gets stuck in unloaded chunks, but will just load that chunk and will teleport you to it. This introduced tons of crazy new things, like not only new types of chunk loaders, but also wireless infinite programmable teleporters, where you can teleport the player infinite distance without any connection to the far out location. And I even made movable chunk loaders, which I used to make this crazy machine called the World Ender, which does never-ending world destruction without the player even loading it. You can learn about all the things you can do with this new type of ender pearl chunk loader and this crazy fly machine in these 2 videos. Bundles are now added into the main game and easily can be crafted up with just 1 leather and 1 string. And bundles can store a stack worth of any amount of items. You can put the items in just by picking them up and clicking on top of the bundle, or you can pick up the bundle and click onto the items. And because they can carry a stack worth, they can be unique items, like 64 items that normally stack to 64, or like a stack of ender pearls which only stacks to 16. But either way, this will fill up the bundle, making it full. There's also a handy display which you can access by hovering your mouse over top, then using your scroll wheel to select which item you want, and the item will be illustrated popping out the top of the bundle right here in your inventory. And then if you select the item that you want to take out, you just right click, that will pull that item out of the stack. Otherwise, if you come in and hold the bundle and then just right click, it'll always take the item out of the top left going down the row. It can display as many as 12 different unique items all at once. Otherwise, they'll just show the rest of the items as being a plus sign, which you can't reach unless you remove other items. You can also remove items from the bundle just by holding it in your hot slot and then right clicking to drop them out in order, or holding down right click to drop everything very quickly. Which makes bundles great for early game where you can collect tons of stuff while exploring, or mid-game where you can quickly access items without having to put down like a shulker box. You can also dye bundles with all 16 colors in the game. We also got a way to improve your computer's performance by a new AFK setting. If you go into our video settings, and then look right here, there is one where you can reduce the frames when you're AFK. So if your player hasn't done anything in 1 minute, you can make it so the computer screen will only update what's going around you 30 times a second. And if you've done nothing after 10 minutes, it drops your frames per second all the way down to just 10. You can also change this so that it'll only do this if the entire Minecraft window is minimized. That way, if you're AFKing some farm, you don't have to worry about it pulling down the CPU power of your computer while you're doing other things on it. There's also a new accessibility setting where you come down to the bottom of this, and you can turn on high contrast lines. This will make it so that when you're aiming at something, it's really obvious what you're actually aiming at, which is great in AFK farms where the player has to be aiming at a specific block, like here in my Hanging Tail Moss farm. Redstone also got a new visual look, so it's a lot easier to see that the redstone is actually powered, as it now puts off this really bright red color. Now you can hide yourself from showing up on maps just by placing a carved pumpkin on your head. So despite you having the map in your inventory, other players cannot see you on the map. Bats can now spawn above sea level as long as it's dark and there's a spot to spawn in, when before they would only spawn below. Bees are now overall smarter in finding flowers and returning back to their nest. The performance overall of the game has been improved, not only frames, but also in generating and loading new chunks. We also got parity between Java Edition and Bedrock Edition, with the Field Mason banner pattern coming to Java Edition, as well as a border indented one. And both of these can be crafted up and will get you these nice looking banners. We also got the parity so that Java can get baby dolphins, as well as baby glow squids and normal squids. We also got the size variations that can come with salmon, so there could be some really big ones, as well as some really small ones. Dogs can now be fed with the fish, just like parity with Bedrock Edition. But there's also some experimental features which you can access by clicking here, and by turning these on you can access stuff like the minecarts improvements, the redstone experiments, the villager trade rebalance, as well as the winter drop. I've already done detailed videos covering each of these down in the description. Now when it comes to discontinued items, blocks, or mobs, there is two cool ones that you can go for. If a villager is sleeping in a bed at night and then it gets struck by lightning converting over into a witch, if we check the data for the bed, it says it's still being occupied by a villager. And because of this, the player can't actually sleep in it. And when you update to a new version, it will stay this way, making it a discontinued block that you can't get anymore. The second one being you can get some mutant mobs. I did a whole video covering that, although most of the things shown in that video could only be done if you upgrade into that snapshot, but some of the properties do transfer over. But some things become more difficult, such as like string dupes, and before this would actually duplicate the string, but they've now fixed this type of string dupe, so if you want a whole bunch of it, collect it before updating. Otherwise, you can get your string from bartering with piglins, with my piglin gold farm, or by using my spider farm. Also take advantage of previous drown and copper farms as they get harder in the new version. And stock up by running your raid farm as they also change in this version. And Java Edition just got 1.21.3, and the only change between the .2 and the .3 is that they fix it so that salmon that get upgraded will now turn into the medium version rather than always turning into the small one. For the less important changes, browse through my snapshot review video playlist where I've already covered every change, big and small. Now learn about all the cool things you can do with the new Ender Pearl chunk loaders by checking out this video here. And share this video with your favorite Minecrafter. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!